Okay, record again and again. Okay, I will share some similarities and differences between Athens and Sparta. Athens and Sparta were the two most important and famous city-states of ancient Greece. They show remarkable similarities and differences in history, cultural, political system, and social structure. I want to introduce similarities first. Athens and Sparta were both ancient Greek city-states geographically adjacent to each other, both located in the southern part of the Greek peninsula, and both were culturally part of the ancient Greek civilization. This is Athens, this is Sparta. Second, both Athens and Sparta had a hierarchy of social organization. Although the hierarchy of the two are different, social stratification were evident both in Athens' democracy and in the Sparta military oligarchy society. And in Athens, the citizens enjoyed high political rights, while slaves and outsiders were restricted. In Sparta, the warrior class had privilege, while the peasants and slaves, known as the helots, were at the bottom of the social hierarchy. Although Athens and Sparta were similar in some ways, the differences between them are more obvious. First, they were different in political system. Athens is a typical representative of democracy in ancient Greece, and its political system is centered on the citizens' assembly. Athenian citizens, of course, as male citizens, women and slaves would not have this right. The male citizens had an equal voice and could participate in government decisions. But in Sparta, it was a militarized oligarch ruled by a small elite, two kings and a consul. Power in Sparta was concentrated in the hands of a few, and ordinary citizens had little influence over policy. Second, the social structure. In terms of social structure, Athens was a relatively open society, while Sparta was a closed military society. From these two photos, you can see that. The economic prosperity of Athens led to the development of various professions and skills, allowing artists and craftsmen, merchants to flourish. But in Sparta, society revolved almost entirely around the military. The life of ordinary citizens was greatly restricted. In addition, women in Athens, despite their relatively low status, were still able to participate in family affairs. But that's all. But in Sparta, women enjoyed relatively more rights in society and were able to own property and participate in public life. And I guess that's because the absence of the warriors. Third, we'll talk about culture and education. Athens was a center of art, philosophy, and science, and its culture emphasized reason and the development of the individual. The Athenians valued education, especially in the fields of mathematics, music, drama, and philosophy. Famous philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle lived and worked in Athens and contributed to the development of Western thought. Sparta, by contrast, emphasized military training and collectivism, and its education system revolved around the development of military skills. From childhood, Spartan children received rigorous military training in order to prepare for the coming war. Last is the foreign relations and expansionist policy. Based on its maritime power, Athens was actively involved in trade, and colonization. An expansionist policy became more evident after the Persian Wars. Athens established the Delian League in an attempt to secure its interests through maritime trade and foreign wars. Sparta, on the other hand, maintained a conservative attitude. They emphasized land defense and internal stability, and avoided direct conflict with other city-states as much as possible. Sparta's military policy was often to maintain and expand its territory by means of war, for example by conquering surrounding areas to extend its rules. To sum up, Athens and Sparta are similar in many ways, but the differences are more significant. Athens represented the cultural achievements and democratic ideas of ancient Greece, while Sparta was a symbol of military strength and harsh discipline. These two city-states not only occupied an important position in the ancient Greek world, but also had a profound influence on our generations.